Good afternoon, guys. Let's start. Today we are going to do drugs against Parkinsonism. So, before we talk about drugs used in Parkinsonism, you need to understand what is Parkinson's disease. At least I'll give you a brief picture of what Parkinson's disease is. This is called Parkinson's disease or Parkinson disease or PD. All of them refer to the same thing. It is a chronic debilitating disease that will degenerate your dopaminergic neurons. So, to put it simply, there is one particular part in your brain called striatum. Okay, so that striatum gets, so let's suppose I draw the striatum like this. That striatum gets information from two areas, that is from your cortex. Okay, how to move around and all of that. This striatum is responsible for movement of your body. Okay, voluntary movements. So I'm sure if you go over your anatomy physiology, you'll be able to find it very easily. Cortex is giving some instructions to your striatum. So is a particular substance called substantia nigra. Substantia nigra. Okay, it literally translates to black substance. यहाँ से substantia nigra से there are some special neurons that are going to your striatum called dopaminergic neurons, meaning the neurotransmitter present in these neurons is dopamine. Okay, so they are called dopaminergic neurons. Now to put that same picture in another way, let me draw that same thing in another way. Dopamine will basically help striatum in coordinating movements, okay, to make sure that movements are in one particular pattern. So let's suppose you are trying to move your arm up. You exactly know what muscle to contract, where to contract, how much force to put. All of that is being controlled by dopamine, or at least all of them are being made sure that all of them are in a fluidic motion because of dopamine. Without dopamine, there will be erratic motion. You will not be able to have a uniform motion. Okay, instruction of how to move and what to do is given by your cortex, but of how smoothly to move is given by substantia nigra. Now to put it another way, let's suppose this is your striatum, corpus striatum. यहाँ पर आपका substantia nigra रहता, substantia nigra, which is releasing dopamine. ठीक है, so I'm abbreviating dopamine as DA. Okay, in several textbooks you'll find it as DA. This in turn will do one thing. Dopamine will inhibit acetylcholine. Okay, in your striatum it will inhibit acetylcholine. Excessive amount of acetylcholine will cause erratic movements. So dopamine will make sure that there is just enough amount of acetylcholine present so that your movements can be well coordinated. Okay, this acetylcholine will directly, or let me put it this way, this acetylcholine will act on another neuron which is connected to your globus pallidus. Okay, in turn you have a smooth flow of movement. Okay, your complete voluntary movement is controlled. यहाँ पर क्या होता है, in Parkinson's disease there is a problem or degeneration of this neuron. ठीक है, the neuron which is transmitting dopamine through your from your substantia nigra to your what do you call striatum, nigrostriatal pathway बोलते हैं उसको, because it is going from your nigra to your striatum. The neurons, the dopaminergic neurons of your nigrostriatal pathway mainly get affected and they get degenerated. So there is degeneration of this particular neuron, because of which the amount of dopamine present that will decrease, which is essentially found in Parkinson's disease. Okay, I hope you guys are following along till here what is happening. If you have doubts, please let me know. After this, I'll explain you how dopamine works in your neuronal space. What happens to dopamine, metabolism and all. Okay, and if you understood this, the main point to remember is the amount of dopamine that is present in a person in Parkinson's disease is significantly low because dopaminergic neurons are getting destroyed. Okay, वो किधर से जा रहा किधर आ रहा, you will eventually understand it, but ultimately what is happening is dopaminergic neurons are getting degenerated, because of which dopamine levels are decreasing. Now if I take a dopaminergic neuron, let's suppose ऐसा होता है तुम्हें, ठीक है, This is the presynaptic and this is the postsynaptic neuron. Let's suppose both of them are dopaminergic neuron dealing with dopamine. यहाँ पर your amino acid tyrosine, I'm abbreviating it as TYR. Okay, tyrosine gets converted into levodopa using tyrosine hydroxylase, and it becomes L-dopa. L-dopa will be converted into, it will get decarboxylated and it will get converted into dopamine. Okay. This dopamine is packed in vesicles, and whenever there is one particular stimulus like this, dopamine comes out here, and dopamine will go and act on its receptor present on the postsynaptic neuron, just like any other neurotransmitter. Let's suppose this is your dopamine. Let us draw. Hello. Imagine this is dopamine, and this will come and attach to this receptor and transmit the signal. So you have transmission of signal. This is happening normally. Once dopamine has done its function, what will happen is some of the dopamine will be taken back directly here. So this is reuptake. Okay? Reuptake occurs like this. Some of it. The other, whatever dopamine is left, that goes to glial cells that are present in your brain. Those glial cells, what they will do is, so let's suppose this is a glial cell. You have several glial cells, astrocytes, oligodendrocytes, etc etc. कितने की टाइप के, 4-5 टाइप के रहते glial cells. ठीक है? These glial cells, so let's suppose 50% of dopamine was being taken back inside, reuptake of dopamine was occurring, and the rest 50% they will be taken up by your glial cell. And in your glial cell there will be two particular type of enzymes called monoamine oxidase. We came across monoamine oxidase इससे पहले in depression. Antidepressants mein I told you monoamine oxidase is responsible for breaking down what you call dopamine long ago in antidepressants. So there is MAO, and there is one particular enzyme called COMT. COMT stands for catecholamine methyltransferase, O methyltransferase. Okay, once we come across drug classes, you will understand. I hope you guys are following along till here. What we did is, in your neuron, one amino acid named tyrosine was converted to levodopa. Levodopa was converted into dopamine, and whenever there is stimulus, this dopamine is coming into your synaptic cleft, into your synaptic space, and making sure that that stimulus is pushed forward into the postsynaptic neuron. Okay? Once the dopamine molecule has done its function, it will either be taken back inside through reuptake, or some of them will be gone to glial cells to get metabolized, where two particular enzymes, MAO and COMT, will break it down into different products. I'll not go into the details of what will happen from there. They'll be converted into different products. Okay, let's suppose that it is being converted into X and this is converted into Y. It is converting that same dopamine molecule into X and Y depending on which enzyme is acting. Either MAO is acting or COMT is acting. This is happening centrally in your brain. Okay. Now, peripherally, meaning in your peripheral tissue, let's suppose somewhere near your liver. Okay. Dopamine is made all around your body, especially most amount of dopamine that you see is actually made in your body. A very small amount will be sent to your to around your body, and most of it will be sent to brain. Banate body mein, it will be sent to brain later on. Okay. But the thing is, dopamine directly cannot cross BBB. Okay, dopamine is a molecule which cannot cross BBB. This is BBB, blood-brain barrier. Okay, I hope you know what is blood-brain barrier, or you remember what is blood-brain barrier. Is everyone following along, or do you want me to repeat any particular part? यहाँ तक clear है what is happening? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. If you have doubts, please feel free to stop me at any time. Now, this blood-brain barrier is impervious to dopamine. Dopamine cannot cross blood-brain barrier directly. So what happens is, there is one particular form of dopamine that will be converted, which is levodopa. Okay, I'll just write it as L-dopa. This fellow can easily cross BBB, and it can come and substitute this dopamine whichever is decreasing. Now, let's suppose in case of Parkinsonism, where you have dopamine, which is dopaminergic neurons, which are becoming fewer in number, they are getting damaged, and the stimulus that dopamine is giving, that is significantly decreasing. What happens when dopamine levels decreases? The patient will have four specific characteristic functions. So four specific characteristic effects of Parkinson's disease. That is tremors, okay, rigidity. They will have a rolling pin tremors. So literally it'll feel like they are what do you call, rolling pills in between their क्या बोलते हैं, index finger and thumb. I'll show you what is a rolling pin tremor. One second. ये देखो, I hope you can see this here. Look at his index finger and thumb. It looks like they are rolling it. This is involuntary movement, okay? They are not controlling that movement. It is involuntary. That is called rolling pill movement. All right. That will occur. Other than that, so there are four cardinal signs of Parkinson's disease. They are abbreviated TRAP, TRAP. Okay? Tremors, rigidity, the patient will develop rigidity, especially cogwheel rigidity, in the sense that their movements will become very rigid. They will not be fluidic in their motion. And akinesia, where they are not able to move properly altogether. Sometimes akinesia, sometimes bradykinesia, wherein the movements will become very slow. It can also be hypokinesia, when the number of movements will decrease. It can either movement can altogether stop, or movement can decrease, or movement will become slow. Okay, that is akinesia, hypokinesia, or bradykinesia. And postural instability. So they will not be able to walk properly. Okay, postural instability means there are problems in their balance. These four are characteristic signs of your Parkinson's disease. Let's suppose someone already has Parkinson's disease and the amount of dopaminergic neurons in them has diminished to a significant level, and they have gone to a doctor to get themselves treated. Now, Parkinson's disease cannot be treated as such. It only can be managed, because it is a destruction of neurons. You cannot get back what neurons that are destroyed, okay, especially CNS neurons. So it is only that you can manage the symptoms, and you can make sure that the patient is able to somewhat live. Eventually, as time goes by, what will happen is, as they get older and older, they will lose significant number of dopaminergic neurons, wherein even if you give the drugs, it will not work properly. Okay, so that is happening in Parkinson's disease. How you manage Parkinson's disease is primarily by, there are two ways of managing Parkinson's disease. अच्छा, यहाँ तक समझ में आया तुम लोगों को what is happening? If you have doubts, please feel free to ask.
Sir, can you repeat?
Which part?
Whole part briefly.
Whole part. अच्छा, ठीक है. See, in your in Parkinson's disease, what is happening is dopaminergic neurons, the neurons that are using the neurotransmitter dopamine, that dopamine is specially responsible for coordinating movement. Let's suppose you want to walk. Okay, you don't need to consciously put an effort. A baby might need to consciously put an effort, but you don't need to put a conscious effort, especially because you have proper channel of dopamine which is coordinating movement. So you know which foot to keep one after the other, how to maintain balance and walk in one particular direction. That is, in a way, coordinating movement. Okay, your motor cortex will tell your striatum how to move, or what to do. Literally, dopamine will show you how to move around very smoothly, so that you don't fall down and you don't tumble. Okay, यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा Parkinson's disease में, the number of neurons of dopamine, especially that are going from your nigra to your striatum, is getting degenerated. They are getting destroyed. Okay? The cause is somewhat unknown. Most of them will be unknown. Sometimes it can be genetic, sometimes it can be drug induced. We'll get to that. But mostly, almost 80% of the times, it is unknown. We don't know what is causing Parkinson's disease. That is why treatment is also so hard. So यहाँ पर क्या होता है, डोपामीन नंबर ऑफ न्यूरॉन्स कम होने की वजह से the number of neurotransmitters ultimately that are present in the person's central nervous system will go significantly low, or they'll become significantly lesser. So how you treat it is, you either substitute dopamine or you stop the effect of acetylcholine, because dopamine is doing two functions. One function it is doing is it is coordinating movement. Second function is doing is second function dopamine does is it will make sure that there is not excessive secretion of acetylcholine. It will act as an inhibitor of acetylcholine to a certain extent. Okay, whenever there is a dopamine present in presence of acetylcholine will not be able to act as much. If there is excessive acetylcholine effect, you know, it will cause what do you call excessive muscle contraction and all of that. Dopamine is antagonist to that. It will make sure that acetylcholine is in control. यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा, because dopamine is less, the patient will develop tremors, because acetylcholine is way more. They will develop tremors, they will develop rigidity, they will develop akinesia, and they will develop postural instability, specifically movement disorders. They will not be able to move properly. At later stages of Parkinson's disease, they will not be able to move at all. ठीक है, यहाँ पर dopamine, it gets made from tyrosine. Tyrosine gets converted into L-dopa, which gets converted into dopamine. Upon stimulation, this dopamine gets released into your synaptic cleft, wherein once it has passed on the message of that action potential whichever stimulated it, it will either be taken back up, reuptake will occur, or it will be sent to glial cells. Okay, the cells present in your CNS, wherein two particular enzymes, MAO and COMT, will convert dopamine into some other products. Okay, so basically they will degrade dopamine, or they will degenerate dopamine, they will metabolize dopamine into, let's say, products X and Y. They are different products, I don't want to confuse you even more. So यहाँ तक हो रहा, ये समझ में आया अभी तक what is happening to dopamine and what is the fate
Yes,
of dopamine?
sir.
Okay. अब डोपामिन जब पार्किंसंस डिजीज को ट्रीट करने के दो तरीके हैं. Okay, there are two ways to treat Parkinson's disease. One is you can directly increase the amount of dopamine. Okay, because dopamine is less, you can directly increase the amount of dopamine. We already know that individual, let's suppose there were 5 lakh neurons present in your, they are way more than 5 lakh. Okay, I'm just giving you a random number. 5 lakh neurons the which had dopamine in them. Now let's suppose because of Parkinson's disease, and these 5 lakh neurons had around, let's suppose, totally 50 lakh dopamine molecules, meaning each neuron had around 10 molecules. Okay, now let's suppose this number has decreased to 2.5 lakhs. Okay, essentially decreasing the amount of dopamine present in the person's brain by 50%. So let me, a second, I can do this now easier. Let's suppose initially in a normal person there were 5 lakh dopaminergic neurons which had 50 lakh dopamine molecules, 50 lakh DA molecules. Okay, and now in case of PD, so if this person suffered from Parkinson's disease, this number has decreased to 2.5 lakh because there is direct degeneration of dopaminergic neuron. Again, this is only an example. Okay, this will ultimately cause the amount of dopamine to decrease, and now there are only 25 lakh units of dopamine. Okay, what I can do is, even though the number of neurons has decreased, if I directly increase the number of dopamine molecules that are present, let's suppose I give external drugs and I increase this times 2, I will get back to normalcy. No, समझ में आ रहा? I am giving external supplementation of dopamine. I am giving dopamine from outside. Even though I'll not be able to get back to normalcy, here this is only an example. Okay, you'll not be able to increase it by a double degree. You'll only be able to increase it slightly. That too dependent on the stage of Parkinson's disease. If it is late stages, you will have less than very small percentage of dopaminergic neurons will be left. So even if you give dopaminergic drugs, it will not, excuse me, it will not make much of a difference. But in any case, one approach is that if you increase dopamine neurotransmitter altogether, if you give drugs that are increasing dopamine neurotransmitter, you'll be able to get back to normalcy. That is one approach. Second approach is inhibitors of acetylcholine, because we know dopamine was inhibiting acetylcholine or at least it was controlling acetylcholine. In Parkinson's disease, some of the symptoms that you see is because of excessive amount of acetylcholine. Okay, several Parkinsonian symptoms they are called Parkinsonian symptoms are because of excessive amounts of acetylcholine. So you can give drugs that will directly decrease acetylcholine levels, anticholinergics, to control the symptoms of Parkinson's disease, or at least to make sure the quality of life of that patient becomes slightly better. ठीक है, these are the two approaches. यहाँ तक समझ में आ रहा what is happening?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, I hope the others are also understanding. Now come back to our previous diagram. So let's suppose यहाँ पर अपन previous neurotransmitter उतारे थे. I'm continuing from dopamine. Okay, so there was dopamine here which came out, and I had dopamine molecules here, and these were going and attaching to this receptor and getting taken back inside reuptake. Okay, like this. Yeah, okay, let me use a different color. Now suppose reuptake was occurring through a different channel like this, wherein dopamine was being taken back inside. 50% of it, I'm just giving a number, some of it will be taken back inside, and some of it will go to glial cells. Some of it will be gone to glial cells, where MAO and COMT will break it down into different products. Okay, these are glial cells. अब मेरा पहला approach, okay, the first way through which I can treat dopamine, what you call Parkinson's disease, is by giving 3 types of drugs. One is, or I can give actually 4 type of drugs. One is dopamine precursor. In the sense, the dopamine precursor will be levodopa. I directly give a drug called levodopa. Because I know if I give dopamine directly, it will not cross BBB, I will give levodopa. Levodopa will cross BBB, it will enter those dopaminergic neurons, get converted into dopamine, and it will supplement dopamine. Okay? That is one approach. Those are called dopaminergic precursors or dopamine precursor, because it is coming directly before dopamine. Now, that is one approach. Second approach is that क्या बोलते, you can give a direct dopaminergic agonist. So you can give a direct dopamine agonist. ये precursor है levodopa. This is an agonist. This will act like dopamine literally. The drugs that will come here will be bromocriptine, lisuride, pramipexole, all of those. So they will directly come here and they will act like dopamine. Okay? They can attach to this receptor and they will give the same response as dopamine. That is the difference. यहाँ पर levodopa is becoming dopamine. यहाँ पर dopamine agonist is acting like dopamine. Okay? This fellow will put on a mask and it will come and attach to this receptor, and that receptor will think that it is dopamine and it will give the same response as dopamine. So you will get the same response here, even though your dopamine levels are low. So mainly you will have bromocriptine here, you will have lisuride, you will have pramipexole. I'll go over those individual drugs, but this is how one way. Then another thing is that the levodopa molecule, if you give it as such, okay, what happens is, let's suppose you give it IV. Generally IV there hai ya tablet there hai. Once it enters systemic circulation, 99% of levodopa gets what you call metabolized, and it will not be able to cross BBB. Okay, this fellow will get converted into dopamine in peripheral tissue itself. So there is one particular enzyme called dopa decarboxylase, DDC likh raha hu main usko, dopa decarboxylase, which in peripheral tissue, this will not be present in your central tissue being your brain and spinal cord. This will be present in your peripheral tissue wherever you are giving the drug, and it will convert levodopa into dopamine. That is what this enzyme does. Let's suppose I am giving levodopa as such. What will happen is, most of levodopa that I'm giving gets converted into dopamine before it can reach your brain. The purpose for me of giving dopamine, or the purpose of me giving levodopa, was that I want dopamine to reach the brain, because there is a deficiency in the brain. If it gets converted in your peripheral tissue itself, it is useless to me, because I know dopamine cannot cross BBB. This cannot happen. Okay? So what I will do is, along with levodopa, I will give one drug called carbidopa. One second, let me use a I will use a drug called carbidopa. Carbidopa will not influence dopamine levels in any way, but what it will do is it will inhibit this enzyme. Okay? This DOPA decarboxylase will be inhibited. If DOPA decarboxylase is inhibited, lesser number of what you call lesser amount of dopamine or lesser amount of levodopa will get converted into dopamine, meaning more amount of levodopa will be available to cross BBB. Are you following along what is happening? I'll repeat once again just in case. I'm giving levodopa, let's suppose peripherally. I have to give peripherally. I either give it orally or I give it IV or any other way. I cannot give it directly in the person's brain. My problem in Parkinson is that the amount of dopamine in brain is low. Okay? So my goal will be to send this levodopa into brain. यहाँ पर problem क्या आता? In peripheral tissue all around your body, levodopa can easily get converted into dopamine through dopa decarboxylase, one particular enzyme. And I already know that dopamine cannot cross BBB. So even if I give levodopa and if I'm not stopping this enzyme, it becomes useless. It will get very easily converted into dopamine, and I will not get dopamine in CNS, which I want. So what I can do is with levodopa, I will give one drug called carbidopa. Carbidopa will not influence dopamine levels in any case. It will not directly influence dopamine level. It will not increase dopamine directly. It will inhibit this enzyme called dopa decarboxylase. Whenever it is inhibiting this enzyme, fewer molecules of levodopa can get converted into dopamine, meaning more number of molecules of levodopa are available to cross BBB, meaning यहाँ पर जो dopamine available है वो बढ़ जाता. समझ में आया? I hope you guys understood.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is one way. ठीक है? Another thing is that एक और enzyme रहता है in your peripheral tissue called COMT, catechol O methyl transferase. ठीक है? This catechol O methyl transferase will convert levodopa into 3-OMD. ठीक है? 3-O methyl dopa बोलते हैं उसको. ठीक है? The problem is this again cannot cross BBB and this cannot substitute dopamine. I want my levodopa to stay as levodopa and to cross BBB. I do not want it to get converted into anything else. यहाँ पर dopa decarboxylase is converting, यहाँ पर COMT is converting. COMT will be present both in peripheral tissue and in glial cells, both in central and peripheral tissue. यहाँ पर what you can do is you can give one particular drug called entacapone. I'll write it here. Entacapone, when given with levodopa, you generally give entacapone, levodopa, and carbidopa together. Entacapone will inhibit this COMT. Okay. So levodopa cannot be converted to 3-OMD, meaning more amount of levodopa is present to cross BBB, meaning more dopamine present in your neuron. Okay. Both of these are working similar. Your carbidopa and entacapone, though they are working on two different enzymes, ultimately the end result is that levodopa levels will increase. Okay, which we want. That is one direct way through which you can increase dopamine. All right. One way I told you, you give directly levodopa, which is a precursor, or you can give dopamine agonist like I'll just put it here, lizuride, and you have pramiprazole, you have bromocriptine. Okay. All of these will act as dopamine agonist. They will literally act like dopamine, and these fellows will go and stimulate these receptors directly. Okay. Whenever dopamine receptor is stimulated by bromocriptine or something, your receptor will think it is dopamine itself, and it will give that response. Okay. That is one way. Then we have another type of drug called amantadine. It will not fit any of these categories because amantadine essentially is an antiviral drug. Okay, you give it for viral infections, but the advantage with amantadine is that amantadine can decrease the reuptake of dopamine, in the sense that it will decrease this reuptake. Yahan se dopamine was one second. Yeah, once dopamine was used, yahan se dopamine was getting reuptake, right? Amantadine will help in stopping this reuptake, and it will cause increased production of dopamine in your brain, and all of that will happen. So ultimately it will cause dopamine levels to increase in brain. Though amantadine does not fall in any of these categories, it is called a dopamine releaser. Okay? You can use that as well. So this is one direct way of how you use it. ये समझ में आया? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. You can stop me and ask doubts if you want. एक काम करेंगे, you digest this for today, read what is what you call dopamine, go open your books and read what is striatum, how it works, what is substantia nigra, how it works. Tomorrow I'll randomly ask what is the function of substantia nigra and what are dopaminergic neurons. One of you will have to explain. I'll ask randomly. Okay, so we'll stop our class for here today.